On today's show, the LA Clippers dropped their second straight nail biter, this time to the Orlando Magic. And I think we learned what the biggest issue for the team is going to be until Darius Garland can come back. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6 and 4, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to get us up to 9,000 subscribers before the end of the season. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. We are now the #1 sports podcast network, and this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Head on over to FanDuel.com to place all your bets and to get started. All right, Clipper Nation. This was a tough game. I'm sorry. I had an AAU tournament this weekend, so I could not be at the game. And it was a good game. It came down to the very last shot. It was a complete nail biter. Just finished watching it Monday morning, so that's why I'm releasing this episode right now. But man, one shot away, Benedict Mathurin getting a chance at the end of the game to win it. I thought it was a really good pass by Kawhi. Would have been an insane start to what's already been a crazy beginning to his Clipper career if he were able to hit it. But we fell a little bit short by a score of one. I forgot the score. I can't even lie. It was 111 to 109. And oh man, we only scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, but they only scored 23. So things kind of tightened up. And my biggest thing is this: until Darius Garland comes back, we're going to struggle to make shots. I think we're creating tons of good looks, but we're going to struggle to just straight up make shots outside of Kawhi and Benny Mathurin. Because Benny had another 20-plus point game. I mean, this guy, especially post All-Star break, he's been electric for us. Absolutely electric. Since becoming a Clipper, the guy's averaging, let's see, in the month of February would be because all the games he's been playing for the Clippers have been in February. He's averaging 22.5 points a game. But we have struggled to make shots, especially threes, without Darius Garland so far. And it's just so much weight on Kawhi Leonard. We'll be talking about him and his performance later. And then, of course, my bright spots of the game outside of Kawhi, which were Benny and Yanic and Jordan Miller. But 111 to 109, it was a really narrow defeat. It was a close game. We were neck and neck with these guys the whole way. The largest lead for either team was 4 points for us with 3 minutes to go and 8 points for them. They were ahead for 64% of the game, so we were mainly playing from behind just a little bit, but we were able to, in that third quarter, take the lead. And then in the fourth quarter, it looked like we were going to take it home or bring it home, but just some big plays late. And it just comes down to a couple shots from our role players. For one, and I love him to death, and his defense was fantastic, but Derrick Jones Jr., although on Paolo was really strong. He was able to body him a little bit. But for the most part, we held Paolo to 6 for 16 shooting and only 16 points. It was really Desmond Bane who went off in this game that killed us. 36 points from him on 13 for 19 shooting and 4 for 6 from downtown. The dude was absolutely lights out, and they weren't just open shots. He was hitting side steps. He was hitting step backs. And that's what, Desmond Bane is not a star, but he's like the level right below a star. He's averaging 20 points a game. We've seen him average 24 points a game in that season in which the Grizzlies were super hampered by injury. So he is a really solid player in this league, and he's always shot well from the field. This season has been no different. He's shooting 48, 39, 91 splits. So he's almost 50, 40, 90. And he does only average 20. So he's well above his average in this game. And sometimes he just has games like that. But I think our offense was the bigger reason why we lost. Each team shot 48% from the field, and funny enough, identical in terms of field goals made and attempted. Both teams were 40 for 83. They shot 3 more free throws, but actually made 1 less. They were 23 for 31 from the foul line, which was good for 74%. We were 24 for 28 from the foul line, which was good enough for 86%. Remember, the Clippers are the best free throw shooting team in the NBA. So by percentage. Now, here's the thing. Derrick Jones Jr. got a lot of good looks in this game. I thought one of the threes he took in the fourth quarter wasn't a great one when Kawhi started to get doubled, and that was the Magic strategy late, was make somebody else besides Kawhi beat us. And sadly, up until that last shot, the shots didn't really fall to Benny. So it were guys like Yanic in that short roll or DJ who were open for shots, and we needed 1 or 2 of those to go down. He was 3 for 12 in this game and 0 for 5 from 3. And as a team, the Magic shot 8 for 23 from 3, and they're not a great three-point shooting team and haven't been in this entire era of Magic basketball that they've had Paolo and Franz Wagner, who, of course, is still out. But they're 24th in the league in three-point percentage. We're 12th, so we're moving up, and that's especially because of John Collins and the way he's shot and turned it around with his three-pointer as the season's gone on. And by the way, I should mention that John Collins did not play in this game, so we were shorthanded. Although, if we want to talk about shorthanded, we can't really make that excuse against Orlando because Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner are out. So obviously when fully whole, also with Darius Garland out. So we don't know what the matchup would look like if it was Orlando fully healthy versus the Clippers fully healthy. But I'm just going to say this. My overall takeaway is that playing against good teams, and the Magic have shown throughout the last 2 years that they can hold their own with one of Paolo or Franz Wagner out. And even with Jalen Suggs out, who's very important for their team, they still find a way to compete. They still have enough athletes to get it done. They still have the star power of a Paolo, and they have Desmond Bane, who's really added to their floor spacing, shooting, and just another shot creator that they have. So when we're playing against bad teams, yeah, we should have no problem winning without Darius Garland. And the thing is, we've beaten Houston and Denver without him. But it's just hard. You're asking so much of Kawhi on a nightly basis. You need these other guys to step up. And without John Collins, that's going to make life tougher because he's been so important for us. And by the way, the good news is Kawhi Leonard definitely exited the Laker game because of load management after we saw the way he played on Sunday. No chance he really was injured like that. Especially, and I saw some comments debating it in the comment section of the last video. But I think what's very telling is Kawhi looked disappointed leaving the huddle. Now, some people are like, he looked a little gimpy. When does Kawhi Leonard not look gimpy? Like, he kind of just has that walk where he looks like he's a little bit limping. But I think that's just kind of the knee issues at this point. The guy there's no way that dude couldn't finish the game against the Lakers with the way he played on Sunday. I know he had a full day to rest, but it's just one full day. And then he's coming back dropping 37. I don't know about that. So I guess that's good news, but it makes the Laker game a little bit more frustrating. But we just needed a couple shots to fall from DJ. Honestly, I can't really pinpoint anyone else. Brook Lopez was fantastic. He shot 50%. Chris Dunn didn't miss one shot. Yanic was 3 for 7. I mean, that floater would have been nice, and he probably should have kicked it out to Chris Dunn when he got that ball in the short roll. But I will say this. Regardless of Yanic missing that floater, Kawhi and Chris Dunn did not get back. Kawhi was like kind of floating into the paint to see if we got an offensive rebound, and Chris Dunn straight up just got beat in transition, which is not acceptable. So, just little things like that. But I'm not going to bring the game down to one play. I think DJ overall, and I also don't want to make it about one player, because Benedict Mathurin's also not shooting well from 3 either since he's become a Clipper. He's 1 for 5 in this game from downtown, but he actually didn't have more than 2 good looks. Some of them were late shot clocks attempts, and one was at the end of the first quarter, I believe. So there's context to the percentage. But if Benny or DJ if DJ had just made 1 3, we would have won this game. So I'm not putting it all on DJ, but we need our role players to make shots. And that's the thing is, what's Derrick Jones' weakness? Shooting. So, same with Chris Dunn. So the reality is, and right now, not only have we not shot very well from 3 the last couple of games, we're not taking many. So, that's the tough part. Is the lack of 3-point volume. But here's the thing. I'm honestly not going to complain about the lack of 3-point volume much. Because when Garland comes back, that's going to increase. And I don't believe in just going into games with a set number of threes that you should take. I think you just got to play your game and take the right shots. Now, there's some people that'll say, "What the math game? If other teams are shooting so many and we're not." Look, man, I thought our offense in terms of the shots we were taking was fine. We just needed to make some more shots. It's that simple. That's all I have to say about it. So it's a narrow loss. It's not something to get too mad about, but we definitely need to, our role players got to knock down shots because I'm not going to put that game on Kawhi. He missed like one shot in the fourth quarter, that jumper that was short. I'm not going to put the game on Kawhi. He made the right plays. He was carrying us all game. We needed some other guys to step up, and you could even include Benny in there with his open threes. But coming up, going to be talking more about the sequence of events in the game, but also the man that's playing at such a high level right now. And with him playing at such a high level, you still can be optimistic going forward. I got to tell you a little something about Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. It's America's #1 app for sports picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. You can choose from basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, UFC, and more. Plus, they've got features like early payouts and flex play. So you've got options while the games are still happening, so you can basically like live wager or, live predict. I downloaded the app and was surprised how easy it was to get started. It just took a couple minutes to build my first lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right. I want to tell you something about our Everydayer Club. If you want an ad-free version of this show and to be in a chat with yours truly and other listeners of Locked On Clippers, you got to go to lockedonclippers.supercast.com and become an everydayer of the show. As you see, the Locked On Clippers Discord is going. I got my boy, the Tenderizer, talking about Benedict Mathurin. He can be a #1 option on a playoff team. Do you guys agree with that? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet, but it's all just good discussion to have. We can talk about it in the Discord. Please, lockedonclippers.supercast.com. Now, Kawhi Leonard, 37 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers on 56% shooting, 14 for 25, and almost all these shots are jumpers. 2 for 7 from 3, so even he didn't shoot very well from 3. 7 for 9 from the free throw line. I think, if he had only missed 1 free throw, that could have helped a little bit, but not really. Because, the shot we got at the end of the game is as good of a shot as you're going to get in transition. And a good block by Yanic. But, man, Kawhi's playing so well right now. His jumper is so cash. And even though, I always talk about that he doesn't really get by guys anymore, he's not getting by guys fully, but he's doing a good job of getting a step on them and getting them on their hip and then using his strength to create separation and get his shot off. And it looks like right now, Paolo, his size is really perfect to guard a guy like Kawhi. And he did have some good possessions where he did a good job on him, but Kawhi's also getting to the line more than I remember him getting to. And a lot of it's because he's just being so aggressive and he's getting 2 feet in the paint with his handle and his size. It's not like his speed, like Harden. Even though Harden is older, he still just has that quick first step. Kawhi doesn't necessarily have that, but he just finds a way to bump, get his 2 feet in the paint, post up, and then once he's 12 feet or closer, it's money. It's money. So that's the brightest spot, Clipper Nation, is how well Kawhi is playing right now. And I think against, the Magic are a decent team. It's not a bad loss, but it's a tough one to swallow because a tough pill to swallow because we were so close and every game counts right now. And we dropped to 27-30 after that one. We got 25 games left in the season, 15 of them at home. So at least we have only 10 road games left, which is nice. 15 at home. So I'll be getting into it a lot more. I guess, let's see, if I've been to 17 games this year, and I want to reach my goal of hitting 30 games, I got to go to at least 13 of the last 15, and I don't think that's going to happen because I'm missing the next game. So I think we're going to end right below 30 again, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll definitely be at more games than I went to last year because the fires, that really killed me for a little bit. So we'll see. But we don't play till Thursday, and our next game is against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dan, that's not going to be easy either. So it's like, again, these are going to be hard. We need to find other guys need to make shots. It can't just be Kawhi. But in the context of Kawhi, they had Paolo Banchero guarding him to start. Kawhi himself was guarding Tristan da Silva. Wendell Carter was guarding Brook Lopez. Of course, they were matched up against one another. Desmond Bane was on Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was actually on Paolo, but he and DJ both took, stabs at him. And without John Collins, Kobe Sanders started, and I loved what he brought us. So, again, I'm not about Kobe Sanders getting removed from the rotation. So I'll talk about that more a little bit in the next segment where I'm going to be focusing on the young guys, but I'm not about Kobe Sanders being fully taken away from our rotation. I think that he still is not only good enough to be in the rotation, but it's for development. You know what I mean? So, anyway, you had Anthony Black guarding him to start. He was guarding Anthony Black, so they were matched up against one another. But Kawhi was aggressive early. A lot of the shots that we were getting were from Kawhi. He created 5 points for Kobe Sanders. One on an outlet pass, one on a cut, had a couple nice steals, and he had a steal and a block early on in the game in that first quarter. But we were down 29-25 after one, and then broke even at 28 in the second, so we were down 57-53 at halftime. And my whole thing was just stay the course. Hopefully Desmond Bane cools down. We can make some threes, and then Kawhi can take over. And we were almost able to get it done. The third quarter, though, was a masterclass by Kawhi. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I thought not only was he active all game defensively, bodying guys, being in the passing lanes, but the 18 points he had in the third, it was instantaneous the way he came out. Most of them were all jumpers, like just contested jumpers. And then one-legged floater going to his left that was ridiculous. He gave us the lead and had 18 points in the third. Half of our points. We outscored the Magic 36-31 in that one. And so we went into the fourth quarter up by one. So that's what was unfortunate, the way we lost that game. But Kawhi, I mean, he just did everything he could. So I don't put any blame on him in this one at all, if I'm being honest. I just feel like he needed a little bit more assistance. Because if you take away Kawhi and Benedict Mathurin from this game, the rest of our team only made 19 shots. The two of them made 21. So if there's two players on your team that are making the majority of shots, I get it. We didn't have John Collins, but, we're going to need more. And I think you get 7 points from Kobe Sanders and 14 points from Jordan Miller and 7 points from Yanic. That's good. Nico Batum, while I thought he did some really good things defensively, 0 for 2 from 3 in his 13 minutes. We only made 5 threes, and that's not going to win you many games in the modern NBA. So that matters. But coming up, going to talk more about Benny, Yanic, Jordan, Kobe. I thought we got some really good stuff out of them. And I know it sounds like we won the game with how positive I'm being, but again, I'm Mr. Positive right now, and there's a lot of things to look forward to, especially with Darius Garland on the horizon, and I'm going to give an update on that. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. So you got to think, who is going to make the NBA Finals? Well, right now on FanDuel, there are certain teams that have much better odds than others. The Denver Nuggets are second behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, with the Spurs in third, and the highest odds are the Boston Celtics in fourth. Now, Jason Tatum, there's already bets on if he will play in the season. And it says, they already have lines for Jason Tatum's first basket of the season. That's assuming that he even comes back. I don't know about all that. But the Clippers' odds have gone up. They've surpassed Milwaukee and Atlanta, which is nice. But there are still 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The Charlotte Hornets have better odds to make the finals than the Clippers. So I don't know about all that. So go to FanDuel to have all, to fix all your betting needs. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I got to tell you a little something about TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. All right, so the Clippers losing this one, sadly, 111-109 to the Orlando Magic. A Desmond Bane masterclass, a Desmond Bane duel with Kawhi Leonard, I should say. And as I mentioned, I think we just need more, just to make shots more without Kawhi. Simple as that. Or outside of Kawhi and Benny Mathurin. But let's talk about Benny. My only criticism of him right now is that his three is not falling. But overall, I don't have a problem with his shot selection, really. He's been amazing off the bench. He's getting to the line every single game. He's playing hard defense. Although, you know what really killed me? The technical foul he had. It was too close of a game for that. He's got to keep his composure. Technical foul and a flagrant on a reckless contest on Desmond Bane. I know he was going for the ball, but that was reckless. He hit him just straight in the head. Hard. So I think he's got to calm down a little bit, because those were fine margins. So, yes, is Benny part of the reason we lost? Absolutely. I'm not doing the Kawhi thing with him where I'm pretty much exempting him of blame. Because if we want to talk about Kawhi, you can talk about one missed free throw, and maybe he could have gotten back on that Paolo Banchero dunk. But if you're putting it down to 2 plays, I mean, that's not much. Benny, the 3 balls, and, technical foul, he can do better there. But this is the reality. Right now, Benedict Mathurin is the second best player on this team. And if Benedict Mathurin is, no disrespect, if he's the second best player on your team, then how good is your team? You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Benny's, potential is, I don't want to say limitless, but he has a lot of potential. This is not the finished article. He's only going to get better. He's 23 freaking years old. So that's the beauty of it all. And, yeah, that is the beauty of it all. So I'm not, too hard pressed about this all. Darius Garland is supposed to be the second best player on this team. So, and by the way, the update on Darius Garland, Lauren Rosen said that he is now doing 3-on-3 and 4-on-4. So before you know it, he'll be doing 5s, and maybe we'll see him back in March for real. So that would be amazing if we got to see Darius Garland come back this season, because I'm a little skeptical on if he's going to come back. But Benny, overall, though, has still been really good. If you want to talk about exceeding my expectations, he's absolutely doing that. And I think he's exceeding a lot of Clipper fans' expectations. 3rd straight 20-plus point game for us. He's scored 85 points in the 3 games post-All-Star break. So if we want to do the quick math there, we're talking 28 points a game since the All-Star break. 21 in this one, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, which was the most of any player on our team. Had a nice, it was actually Jordan Miller that lobbed it up to him, but he had some nice passes, kickouts, 2 turnovers on 7 for 16 shooting, 1 for 5 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Listen, man, the guy has been awesome so far. I haven't seen my first Mathurin jersey yet, but I guarantee you at the next home game I might, because I won't be at this one. So the next one I go to, we might see some off the shelves. I would just hate to get his jersey and then we trade him this summer, which would be horrible. But I'm gonna wait till if he's on that roster at Media Day next season, I'm buying a Benny jersey. I already like him enough for that. So Benny, I thought he was good. I think he could have been a little bit better. I think he could have been a little bit more, what's the word? Apologies. I think he could have been a little bit more composed, but it is what it is. He's a young player. He's going to make some mistakes. Speaking of young players, Yanic. I thought we got some really good moments of rim protection from Yanic throughout the game, including that last block he had that led to the transition miss from Benny. And how about the offensive rebound that led to a three in that fourth quarter? That got the crowd going. I could hear the swell chanting Yanic's name. 7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, 1 turnover on 3 for 7 shooting, 1 for 2 from downtown. The funny part is the three that he missed was an air ball. So I thought Yanic did a really good job just being active, contesting shots to the rim, moving his feet. He did get blown by a couple of times. But again, all of this is just like growing pains and development for Yanic at the same time. So the question is, did we make a mistake closing with Yanic over Brook? Because I thought Brook played really well too. He was able to score in the post a little bit. He had really good contests around the basket all game long. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal on 3 for 6 shooting and made his only 3. Yanic played 26 minutes. Brook played 22. Considering, and I know he has not been good from 3 this season, but considering that we are lacking 3-point volume right now, should we have closed with Brook? Should we have given Brook more minutes than Yanic? He's only shooting 34.5% from downtown, but he is still a guy that was, for example, in this game, made his only 3. So let me know in the comment section if you think Ty Lue should have closed with Brook. I don't think that was the deciding factor in the game. I actually like him closing with Yanic because, again, I'm all in it for Yanic's development long term. So, closing games, it's part of the process for him. Now, so I thought we got a really solid game from Yanic. 4 blocks, almost a double-double. You'll take that all day long. Jordan Miller, really good game from him. Getting 2 feet in the paint constantly, hitting floaters right when he came in, and then that Euro step and then hanging on one leg and banking it in layup was like, in the first half, was ridiculous. I thought he made some great plays, had that nice lob to Benny. So Jordan Miller, came in, did his thing, 10 points in the first half, and getting in the paint throughout the game. He had 14 points, 1 board, 1 assist, 1 turnover on 5 for 7 shooting and made all 4 of his free throws. After 8 consecutive games with not finishing in double-figure scoring, he's now had 2 straight games where he has finished in double-figure points. So you love to see that from Jordan. There is still room for Jordan and Benedict Mathurin to cook together, in my opinion, especially when Kawhi's out. Because if I'm being honest, outside of Benny and Kawhi, Jordan Miller might be our best shot creator. Because he is crafty enough to just get 2 feet in the paint and he uses his body really well. There was one time he was against De Silva, and De Silva's like bigger than him, but he bodied him. So I love to see that. And then Kobe Sanders, I thought he had a really solid impact. He's a very good cutter and a solid offensive rebounder. And we've seen those glimpses this season. And he had I think it was a dunk early on a Kawhi outlet, and then a nice cut from Kawhi where he got an and one. I thought he had a pretty solid game overall. Finished with 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover on 3 for 6 shooting. Missed his only 3 and made his only free throw. We went 9 deep in this one with Nico, Yanic, Jordan, and Benny off the bench. Isaiah Jackson and Bogey catching a DNP. They went 10 deep with Mo Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, Javon Carter, Jet Howard, and Jace Richardson. And they only got 20 points off their bench. Benedict Mathurin, just like against the Lakers, he had more points than that by himself. So our bench has really gotten a boost, but their starters, all 5 of them were in double figures, whereas we only had 2 in double figures, Brook and Kawhi. Chris Dunn had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 turnover, and 2 steals. I thought he was fantastic off ball defensively. On ball, he was okay, in my opinion. Sometimes there's too much slapping down from him. But, 7 points on 100% shooting from Chris Dunn and good defense is solid for me. But just needed some more, from some of these role guys. Just needed some more. That's all I can say about it. But it was a really fun game to watch. Very competitive. Nico, a donut. We need a little more than that. But he did have 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. So he just finds a way to impact games in his own way. But yeah, that's really all I have. And then that goaltend at the end, it was controversial, but the NBA came out and said it was a goaltend. But it was really tough to see. So anyway, back at it again on Thursday. Minnesota won't be easy. It's a tough schedule right now in March, but just got to take it one game at a time and try our best. The one thing I can say about this team right now is that we're playing hard, and I'm enjoying watching every game, and that's half the battle. But look, We're definitely going to get a play-in spot. It's just I want to get that 8th seed. I really want to get that 8th seed at least. And now Dylan Brooks is out for a while. So the Suns are going to be in some trouble. But yeah, now Portland overtook us by half a game for 9th. So again, we got a battle. I don't see Memphis 4 games behind us. I don't see them catching up. 5 games behind us, technically. I don't see them catching up. So, it's a battle with Portland. It's a battle with Golden State. We got to hope they keep losing games. And I would not rule Phoenix out. I think Phoenix could go through a slump without Dylan. Top 6 seems out of reach, though. Minnesota, Lakers, Houston, Denver, San Antonio, and OKC. They're 10 games plus over 500, so I don't think the 6th seed is feasible. I think the way to go is to hopefully get as high as we can. We're going to be in the play-in this year. It is what it is, but I would bet my money on Kawhi in a one-game situation. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog of the Denver Nuggets game is out. And, of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcast and subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. I'm trying to get to 9,000 subscribers before the end of the season. Right now, we're 21st out of 30 teams in subscriber count for the NBA hosts. I want to surpass the next team. I think it's Locked On Thunder. So, sorry, Ryland, we're coming. And, of course, the Everydayer Club, an ad-free version of this show, and a Discord chat just for the listeners. If you never miss an episode, it's built for you. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA game night on Locked On NBA. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.